Heading 5. Resource Constraints. As you certainly know, SharePoint architects and administrators are a scarce commodity, and what is scarce often costs a lot. Additionally, SharePoint topics and concerns are not all related to monitoring and reporting. User acceptance, SharePoint applications, business analysis, environment upgrades, new technologies, and so on. All of these topics are really important for any company. With all of these critical topics, and of course the obvious need for monitoring and sometimes reporting in your environment, your SharePoint expert won't have a moment to breathe. In this case, if you want to get the best return on investment from your expert, you need to focus his actions on what you can't automate by a tool. Let's see now how GSX can free up the time of your SharePoint expert by automating monitoring and reporting for your SharePoint user experience and SQL environment. How can GSX solutions cure this headache? GSX is an out-of-the-box tool. Nothing has to be installed on your SharePoint servers. Just set up the tool on any VM or workstation, configure the servers and the SQL databases with our wizard, and let it run. You do not need any SharePoint-specific skills to configure it. You don't have any scripts to write. Everything is already configured for you. In the main view, you will find different information. The first LED is the availability of your SharePoint front-end servers and web services from a user's perspective. The second LED is for the status of log scanning, and the last is the availability of the SQL database. To configure these, you can use a wizard or go directly to the server settings. GSX just needs an administrator account and information about your SQL databases. Then you just have to click on the web services that you'd like to configure and test, configure your scanning and retry frequencies, and the alert profile where you'd like to send it. And the alert profile is highly customizable. You can send it via email, perhaps SMS. You can set off a beep if it's in a knock situation. There's a bunch of different ways that you can be alerted to an issue with your environment. Next, you can take a look at your logs and configure in here any particular text strings or things you'd like to look at, and of course the alerts that you can use with that as well. We can also take a look at our disk space thresholds, configure the thresholds in here, and again, set an alert for what you'd like to, how you'd like to be notified of an issue with that. Next, we can look at our different scenarios for SharePoint. Simply click on the ones that you'd like to perform. You can set them up, and you see here we have a few different ones set up as far as the availability to create sites. If you want to set up blog posts, adding new items, creating meetings, those types of things. Finally, we can take a look at SharePoint site performance. We can look from a user perspective for critical sites just by entering in the URL in this section here. GSX will perform testing regularly, automatically, and will display statistics in the statistics view for you to have real-time information on your systems and the size of your environment. This information is then available in GSX Analyzer to create automatic reports on the availability and size of your environment over a determined period. Now let's create a report forecasting the size of your environment to show you how quickly and simply you can do that. Let's open GSX Analyzer and go to the Trend Reports section. Create a new one. We'll use a template. And in this case, we'll look at our SharePoint site data. Wait for the statistics to appear here. We'll select SharePoint. And as you can see, since it's a template, we've got some pre-populated things we're going to look at. We can set our servers on this side, pick what servers we'd like to look at. We set our scheduled options, our distribution options, so who we're going to send it to, if it's going to be a PDF or a CSV, and finally we can customize it. Click on Generate. In this case, we'll click Cancel because I've got one here for you. Everything's all done. You can receive that type of report with your logo, the statistics you've defined, and the graphs accordingly. You'll be able to forecast on the same graph if you choose. In this case, I've selected a few things down here, number of documents, document size, and size of all sites. You can see that it gives a good visual representation of what's going on in your environment. Understanding that your SharePoint experts do not have the time to spend on monitoring and reporting for your SharePoint environment means that you need some other solution. Anyone can perform these tasks with GSX. Your experts can then focus on value-added tasks, delegating monitoring of your infrastructure to GSX. To sum up briefly what we just viewed, GSX, which is agentless and acting as a user, will allow you to install and configure a monitoring and reporting tool for your SharePoint environment in just a few minutes without any specific SharePoint skills. You can check user experience, site performance, logs, disks, SQL, all with just a few clicks. This in turn will free your experts to perform value-added tasks for your company. Thank you for your time. The next headache we'll look at is managing user complaints. You can now download the SharePoint Headache ebook, and if you'd like, you can download a free trial of GSX Monitor. Please, don't hesitate to contact us for any questions you might have. You can reach us at sales@gsx.com. Thank you, and see you next time.